Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It's Beth on the 2 p.m. show and I'm not going to lie, I am really not happy this afternoon with what is going on with Manchester United and the thought that we could lose two important players that we thought would be an important part of our season to Chelsea, a competitor in the league this transfer window. We're going to be covering De Jong potentially going to Chelsea. Is Ronaldo going to leave and could he end up at Chelsea as well? And also about Ten Hag's 5 rules that Ten Hag's put in place over the new players to get them in order. And do you know what? These rules seem like just what would be normal precedents at a football club, but I suppose at Manchester United, they've got to enforce it because it has been being run by the players, it seems like, and they've not had many rules for quite a long time. But straight into the show, we are going in some news that is so disappointing to a lot of United fans and really disappointing to me. And if this happens, we're already a joke of a club. Don't get me wrong. This transfer window has been a joke so far. And we've been a laughing stock for quite a while. But if this happens, we will be one of the biggest jokes of a club going, especially bringing a new manager for this to happen. And it is that Chelsea are going with everything to sign Frenkie de Jong. It is confirmed from Gerard Romero via managing Barca. And Romero has had a lot to say on this transfer with de Jong. I think he was the first person to tweet out when the news started coming out saying that de Jong is 95% done about a few hours after the news came out. And look at us, how many weeks later? It feels like it's been an absolute age. And it's still, apparently, we've not even got personal terms done coming from Romano this morning, as you would have seen on the morning show. But there's other outlets reporting this as well. Santos Ravelo has put out there that Chelsea is interested in signing Frenkie de Jong and have entered the race for him. It is really, really disappointing that this news is coming out, especially after Ronaldo news regarding Chelsea. And I've got a few things I want to say on this. There could be two things going on here. It could be this is being used to make United pay more money for de Jong and get this deal done quicker. Or Chelsea are genuinely interested in getting de Jong in. And if that is the case, I feel like we don't have a chance. The reason why I think we don't have a chance is because they've got Champions League football. The reason de Jong wants to stay at Barcelona is because of Champions League football. If Chelsea are offering Champions League football and they are obviously a more developed squad than us, they've had the manager for a longer time than us, they feel like they're going somewhere. That is the obvious move for de Jong. He really doesn't want to move to Manchester United, it seems like, from the reports coming out. He really wanted to stay at Barcelona because of the Champions League football and because he loved the club. If Chelsea are going to offer in Champions League football, that is the obvious one to do if what's holding it up is personal terms, as what has come out from Fabrizio Romano and him not wanting to leave Barcelona. The only potential that we have is that Ten Hag has worked with de Jong before and they've got a good relationship. But if the relationship was that good, I feel like he would have already been through the door and we wouldn't have to convince him this much. So to me, if there is genuine interest from Chelsea and it isn't just PR spin to drum up Manchester United do this deal quickly, and I know there's issues going on with his wages. I think Barcelona owe him quite a bit in wages that he agreed to hold back on because of the financial situation. If they are trying to get more money out of us from using this Chelsea thing, one, I think it could definitely work because Manchester United seem to completely change when another club enters the race, and you could just sit there and be like, wow, we have spent our whole summer on this. We're going to look like an embarrassment if we don't get de Jong over the line, and we've got no other options because we've not really heard of any backup options. So they might just go all in and make sure this deal gets done, and they might just pull the hand out of the pocket and make sure this deal gets done. But if they don't, and we end up losing this deal for de Jong, that is peak incompetence and peak embarrassment for Manchester United because we have spent our whole window on this. There is a reason we're going into the pre-season tour with one backup left back who equals our net spend to I think it's about 1 or 2 million euros. That's our net spend right now. And it's a new manager. It's because we've spent so long on this de Jong deal, losing other targets at Ajax, losing other targets in other potential clubs that we're going for. So if we don't get this deal over the line, it is seriously, seriously worrying for us as a transfer team and as a club as well, because where are the backup options? Pratosaurus Rex says, Man United love a transfer saga, Sancho, de Jong, etc. They do, but this de Jong one feels really, really different. And he doesn't want to join this club. Sancho wanted to join. Maguire wanted to join. Pogba wanted to join. De Jong doesn't want to join. Another club comes in the race. that he does want to join. I feel like I'm repeating it so much. He's going to want to go there because they've got more ambition than us. They have got more ambition. Ray Carl Brown Amory says De Jong is open to join United and not Manchester United, Barcelona. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. I'm thinking you're meaning that De Jong is open to join Man United. Potentially he is open to join Man United, but it seems like he doesn't. He's being forced into this, it seems like. And it's never a good sign that you've got to force a player to begin with. But because we've spent so much time on him, we're going to have to try and get this deal over the line. And Red since 1975, the saddest point for me is not the lack of transfers, player not wanting to join, or in the fighting. It's the fact that this great institution has been dragged into the mire. It's soul destroying. It is soul destroying. It's soul destroying watching every other Premier League club, especially the top teams, strengthen, back the manager, do competent transfer business. And when we're at our lowest possible point as Manchester United fans, we again just see us acting this way in the transfer market, incompetent. We not a big club anymore, clearly. We've got to try and force players to come. And now, on top of everything, Ronaldo seems to like he wants to leave as well. And Ronaldo potentially could go to Chelsea. Could you imagine if we start the season off with Ronaldo and De Jong at Chelsea and what would we do? We'd probably go into desperation and buy players out of desperation, but it wouldn't be the players that Ten Hag wanted. It wouldn't be part of the plan that we had this summer. And I can guarantee you that we'd be on the back foot because of it. I rate Ten Hag so highly as a manager, but I really think he's being set up here to... He's not been set up to fail because they want to do good by him. They just got a very incompetent transfer team. But he's going to really struggle no matter how good of a manager you are with this squad and with what it looks like, the transfers that we've got in so far, which realistically, officially announced, we've got one left back in that potentially might not even start. Some people think he will, some people think he won't. And we've got Christian Eriksen, which, is he going to start? I think because Ten Hag wanted him so much, he potentially will, but he's not a game-changing player. We need game-changing players coming into the first 11, and it doesn't seem that that's happening right now. Hictori Batasai says, if De Jong fails, big red mark against Ten Hag. I don't think it's Ten Hag's fault. He's doing everything he can to get this player in. He's on the phone to De Jong every day. I think it's Manchester United that are holding this deal up by just not having the pulling power. We're not in the Champions League, and that's due to the players and also Manchester United, the board, the owners themselves for not investing in Rangnick in January. I feel like if we would have invested, we would have definitely got Champions League football. And the fact is, we are a club that looks, in the grand scheme of things, from an outside perspective, is on the decline. It's the worst ever season that we've had. And yes, Ten Hag's in charge now and he's an exciting manager, and De Jong will know that Ten Hag has got capabilities as a manager to turn this around. But when you're hearing through the news that Ronaldo wants to leave because of lack of ambition, and that you hear all these dressing room leaks come out and you hear all the negative press around Manchester United, you can understand from someone who isn't a United fan. De Jong is not a United fan. Why you wouldn't want to come here at a very crucial point in his career. And I hope we get this deal over the line, but I was very sure about it. I'm starting to get less and less sure as things go on, because I mean, the thing with this football club, when you don't think it can get any worse, it definitely can. And this is what we're seeing throughout the transfer window. And it's really disappointing, because I thought we were going to go in here with some courage and some guts and go out there and actually do some business. But it seems like we've been our usual selves, completely incompetent and slow out of the blocks as well. Lithwai Haggai says, look into next season. Liverpool have Nunes, City have Haaland, and we are stuck with Martial. Hashtag Glazers out. That's an important thing, that we've got to get Glazers out. I mean, whichever direction this transfer window goes, the way it's gone so far has been appalling. And the fans don't deserve it. They really don't. We've got a great manager in. We know as fans that watch football that this could potentially be a turning point and a really good opportunity for us to start gaining some ground back on teams that have gone ahead of us. And if you don't give him the tools to do it, it's going to take 10 times longer. It's going to be 10 times harder. So it's so frustrating knowing that it's there to be done. You've got Ten Hag in, you've got the manager. We're just not investing in it. And it's so disappointing. It's because the club is just so money orientated. We've got the money there. We pump a lot of money into this football club as fans every year. The money's there. They just don't want to spend it. They want to take it for themselves. And it shows across the whole field of things. Stadiums, coaching facilities, training facilities. I mean, Ronaldo had to go and get his own training facility because it was that run down. Sam Brock says, Eriksen is obviously a game-changing player. Look at Brentford before and after and compare his stats to any of our players last season. I think he's a good addition, a very good squad addition. Do I see him getting us to the levels that we need to be single-handedly? No. And that's why it isn't game-changing. Game-changing is adding quite a few players to our squad that can get us to the next level. I don't think him alone is going to do that, but it's a good addition to the squad. It definitely is. And a lot of people saying Glazers out in the chat, completely agree with that. I mean, I can't not agree with it. And Ronaldo should leave. I've seen that from a lot of people. And I've not had my chance to get my point of view on here. I think I might have said something a little bit on the fan forum about it. And my opinion, if Ronaldo leaves, I've tweeted this out, people, have you not seen what has happened with this transfer window so far? We've spent 14 million euros, 14 million pounds on a backup left back so far, or potentially a starting left back, but I do think he will grow into the team. I don't think he'll be starting straight away. And we have no plans to buy a striker. We didn't have plans to buy a striker. There's still been no names leaked out surrounding a striker. We are interested in Anthony. We are interested in De Jong, and we are interested in Martinez. We are not going to buy a striker, in my opinion, if Ronaldo leaves. And if we do, it won't be one of the ones that we think we will. It'll be a desperate signing from somewhere that potentially would be a risk but might not work out. People I've seen saying we should get Scamacca, we should get Osimhen, we should get Felix. People saying these aren't going to happen. Felix, never in a million years. The amount of money that we'd have to pay for a start, and also we're not in the Champions League. Osimhen, Napoli would make us pay a lot of money for that. Scamacca, I just don't see it being a deal that Manchester United go for. I think if Ronaldo leaves, if you're happy for Ronaldo to leave, you've also got to be happy with the fact that we're going to go into next season as Rashford and Martial as strikers. And if you're happy with that over Ronaldo starting up front, I have to seriously disagree and question why that would happen. You have a lot of faith in Ten Hag to be able to get the best out of Rashford and Martial. If you would rather that happen and Ronaldo leave, because he's going to score goals. If you give him the chances, he's going to score goals. It's an area I didn't think we'd have to worry about. But because of how poor we've been in the transfer window, because of how poor we've been last season, because of how under-ambitious this club is, he wants to leave. And this is the problem. If you go so long with this mentality that the Glazers and this club has filtered through down the football club, this under-ambitious attitude, the way that the haven't invested in the stadium, haven't invested in training facilities, hasn't invested properly in the squad when we massively needed to at the start of this window. We needed to make an impact in the window. It filters down through. And players that want to win, players that are good enough to play at other teams, top level teams, they won't stick around for that long. And then you're losing a very, very good asset, and you end up with the mediocre players, with the mediocre attitude. I'm not saying every one of them does, but it is a problem in that dressing room, and you're having one of the greatest leaders and greatest mentalities leave. I don't see that as a positive whatsoever. I see that as a negative from the club for having that attitude filter down to the point where the greatest winner in the world feels like he has to leave. Sam Brock says, no one player is going to do it alone. Otherwise, Ronaldo would have dragged us into CL. All I'm saying is Eriksen is an upgrade on current squad. He's an upgrade on the likes of McTominay, Fred, etc., etc. He is an upgrade on some of the departments. I don't think he'll start over Bruno, but you never know. Ten Hag might have an idea of the way he wants to play. Kevin Mowry says, we have spent about 3 mil net, essentially, and have our entire budget still, but are struggling to get deals completed. It makes no sense. One, because not many people want to sign for us because we're out of the Champions League and because of the position we're in. And two, we haven't planned out our targets properly. We're planning to spend a big chunk of this money on De Jong. So when this chunk of money's gone, we've got to be really careful with who we spend, because there's not that much money there. The budget's rumoured to be around 120 mil. You're spending 65 plus 20 mil add-ons on De Jong. That's a lot of the budget gone already. So they're being precautious. This is why De Jong is holding up the whole transfer window. And if we don't get him, there's no backup options here that we know of as of yet. And the backup options, it's been said before by many journalists, Ten Hag wants De Jong. He needs De Jong. If we don't get him, it's going to be, I'll be interested to see how we handle it. It won't be pretty. I feel like it'd seem very, very desperate from outsiders, the way we go about things. Ammar Hazani, VAR check, said, it's interesting how Ronaldo demands leaving after the breaking news about Man United and refuses to add Maguire and De Jong deal. Man United refuses to add Maguire and the De Jong deal. I think that was complete. But I think that was complete rubbish. I don't think Barcelona want Maguire. I don't think many teams do. I don't think we would have given him up anyway, which shows what our club's like. We just have other priorities other than footballing priorities. We have money priorities, and we also have the perception priorities, social media priorities. And as a football club, if someone offered me money for Maguire, anything for Maguire, I'd be like, yeah, let's have, well, not anything. If they gave me a chunk of money for Maguire and it was knocked off the De Jong deal, Manchester United should have been all over that. I don't think it happened, but I think if it did, we wouldn't go for it anyway. And that just shows what state the club is in. But moving on to Ronaldo, and it's coming out from Sky here that MUFC will listen to offers for Cristiano Ronaldo despite them saying he is not for sale. Chelsea are seriously considering Cristiano Ronaldo. They're not feigning interest. Todd Boehly doesn't want his first signing to be just anyone. Boehly wants a superstar, and that's coming from Arubo Marsa. So the Chelsea and Ronaldo interest hots up. Sky saying that we will listen to offers, even though Simon Stone and Ducker have come out with what seems to be a brief from the club saying position on Cristiano is unchanged. Man United say he's not for sale, year left on his contract. And these mixed signals, I completely agree that I think in Manchester United's eyes right now, we cannot afford to lose Ronaldo. We especially can't afford to lose him to Chelsea at this point in the transfer market. They would be outraged. They would be absolute outrage from the fans, would be a laughingstock across the football community if we let Ronaldo now go to Chelsea with only this signing under our belt. I feel like if we signed a few more players, such as De Jong, Martinez, and potentially Anthony, and then I then think they could potentially consider listening to offers, because they probably want the money back and they probably don't want the ag of Ronaldo complaining about the way that they're going about the business at the club. We've seen it with Rangnick. As soon as someone says something out of line with how they're running it, which is wrong, they're executed out of the club. It happened to Rangnick. They can't do it to Ronaldo because all the fans love him and he's a world-renowned superstar. But they'll be looking for a way to get him to quiet down, because it's not a good look for the club. Ronaldo coming out saying that we don't have ambition. He's speaking the absolute truth. But Man United like to brush this stuff under the carpet. They don't want it going out to the press. They don't want it going out to the fans. They don't want to risk another protest. They don't want to risk these things. So if they get these signings in and they can get rid of Ronaldo without the fans kicking up as much of a fuss, they potentially could do it. But I know Ten Hag wants to keep him, so I don't know why we'd be open to listening to offers. Potentially want to make the money back on him and get a player out of the club with the highest standards that's going to demand stuff. But again, that's just small club mentality, real small club mentality. A big club mentality would be Ronaldo. We understand we've not been doing things correctly over the last few years. We want to change this with Ten Hag. We've got a new project going. Keep faith in us. We're going to get these players in for you this window. We're going to really show other teams that we want to compete. We're going to get these players in for Ten Hag, and we really want you to be part of that in the first year. We want you to be captain. We want you to lead this team. That's what big club mentality would do, but that doesn't seem to be the way United operate. United operate to save money and save funds, which is the way we are, and it's so frustrating from outsiders who care about the club, unlike people potentially inside the club that only care about money going into their own pockets. Anyway, get in the comments down below what you think will happen with Ronaldo. Do you think he'll go to Chelsea, or do you think he will stay, or do you think he'll go to another club? Because to me, I know that the door's been closed on Bayern, he's not going to go there. But if he went to a team abroad, it would hurt so much less than if he went to Chelsea. If he went to a team abroad, I'd be like, gutted that we've lost our top goal scorer, player of the year, and someone who's going to drive the mentality inside the dressing room. Gutted that I've lost someone that would have scored, in my opinion, even more goals under this Ten Hag system. And the way Ten Hag's going to coach Bruno, Sancho, potentially Anthony coming in, he could have scored so many more goals this season. It could have been brilliant, in my opinion. I'd be gutted about that side of it, but I'd be even more gutted if he went to Chelsea and I had to watch him week in, week out, scoring goals for Chelsea, potentially taking them to the next level, because I think Chelsea are at that point where they're not as good as Liverpool or City, but they've got a good team and they've got a good manager and they've got potential there and they've got a good squad. So adding a proven goal scorer to that, which is what they've struggled with, it could really take them to the next level. I would absolutely despise that. I would be upset with the club, but I know Mark said it's purely the club's fault. That's his opinion. My opinion is I would be a little disappointed in Ronaldo, I'm not going to lie, if he went to Chelsea. I could understand it because it's about personal accolades to him. He wants to be the best. He wants to break records. He wants to play in the Champions League. He wants an owner that's ambitious. But going to Chelsea, I would feel like I would be a little bit annoyed towards him because I think he'd know how much that would hurt the United fans. But again, he isn't a charity. Do you know what I mean? He's got to do stuff for himself sometimes. So it's a hard one. Makes no sense that Chelsea have not signed a centre-back and is ready to sign Jong. I don't think Chelsea will sign Jong. I'm hoping. I feel like it's PR, media, interest and false stories to make Manchester United pay more and hurry up with this deal, personally. I don't think they've got a brilliant midfield. They need centre-backs and they need a striker. But imagine Sterling and Ronaldo in that team as well, and then them getting the centre backs in. It would be brilliant, and I hate to say it. Zayn Miasi, he nearly joined us from Sporting. Time to make the correct historic mistake. Zayn, stick to Jesus. Stick to Manchester City striker when everyone said they didn't have a striker. That's how much impact he made. But he's not going to go to Arsenal because Arsenal, it's like, I hate to say it, it's like the same level as Manchester United, which is really embarrassing for United fans. But that's the way it is at the moment. Pratosaurus Rex, Ronaldo leaving and questioning ambition of United will hamper Ten Hag's ability to sign good players. Totally understand Ronaldo if he goes, though. Exactly. Some people understand, and that's the fact you understand this situation shows how frustrated people are with the board and the owners. And going into next season, guys, let's hope Ten Hag can work miracles, because miracles are massively needed with the way that we're going at the moment. Arsenal is lower than us. Is it? I mean, it just about is. But they've had a better transfer window than us. They've showed way more ambition than us, and I really don't like to say it, but it's the truth. They've made some good signings, and on top of that, Tielemans as well. It's decent. But I hate to say that. Anyway, before we round up, I want to quickly say about Ten Hag and the 5 rules that he has set for Manchester United players that I was talking about at the start of the show. And I was really interested to see the types of rules that Ten Hag's laid down. I knew he was a strict manager from reports coming out. I knew he was a manager that was going to make an impact. But it is coming from the Mirror saying that Erik Ten Hag has introduced a series of strict rules to improve the off-the-field issues at Manchester United. And God knows we need them, because we need these off-the-field issues to be completely sorted, because it was absolutely embarrassing last year. Embarrassing, the amount of leaks coming out of the club and the fitness levels when Rangnick came in. He got to play 20 minutes of pressing football, half pressing football at Crystal Palace before I realised the squad didn't have the fitness levels whatsoever to carry it out. So we need off the field rules, and we want to get our fitness improved, and we want to make sure that the leaks aren't coming out. And one of the rules is MUFC players have been told that if any of them are found leaking information to the media, they will be exiled from the team. Finally, I mean, I don't know if it'll stop the players, if there's players still there that are doing it, but I'm hoping it does, because if they get caught, Ten Hag means business. They will not be playing. He potentially could put them into the under-23s. I think he's kind of that serious of a manager when you see him speak and the way he talks about his rules and how he wants his players to follow them. So hopefully they will get nervous at the start of a new era and we won't hear the leaks for a while. Won't be surprised to see him start dripping back in after the honeymoon period with Ten Hag, but you know, it's one of them. At least he set that rule in place. Mario Franco, it always feels like deja vu, really. Bad windows, hopes, and us trying to believe a miserable project. Glazers really make it look difficult for us fans. They do, and the worst part about it is we got sold the idea of a new project, new era, rebuild, Ten Hag. We're going to give him everything he needs to succeed. We want Manchester United to be back to the best. actions speak louder than words is all I'd say on that one. And Manchester United's actions do not match their words. Going into the transfer window, spending the whole summer on one player, missing out on targets, not being able to get 2 deals done at once, only buying one left back that I think Malacia is a great signing, but potentially might not even start, and is a player that's going to be there to develop under Ten Hag. While Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea look like they're going to sign people under this new owner, and also Spurs, Arsenal are going out signing players, especially the top teams that were way better than us anyway. And knowing how bad our squad is and the amount of players that have left, so they've got wages off the books, it's embarrassment, and the actions don't match the words. Anyway, on to the next rule. The other rule is that players will be dropped if they are late for training and team meetings. Reputation counts for nothing. That should be established anyway. If players are late, it sets a very, very bad example to younger players in the squad or anyone else in the squad that if a first team player is being late, they shouldn't be a first team player no matter how good they are. So I think that is a great rule to have set down, and it should be a rule that should already be being abided as professionals. Do you know what I mean? As professionals, they should be doing this already. And then the next one is players will be... Next one. MUFC players have been told that they are not allowed to drink alcohol during match weeks in order to retain peak condition ahead of games. And Erik Ten Hag is said to want the same chefs preparing players' meals as opposed to them employing their own personal catering staff. He's also overhauled the food menu at Carrington. Thank you. I think with this, we know the fitness of our players wasn't up to speed when Rangnick came in last season. It looks like a lot of them have been training hard before the pre-season, as they should be doing as professional athletes. You don't get a round of applause for training for your job. But I feel like Ten Hag's told them to get in shape, do extra training, and I feel like Ten Hag's really taken this fitness thing into one of his top priorities by having these things doing. And I saw Scholes put on Instagram, what would I do without my personal chef? It's like, I mean, Luke Shaw's TikTok chef is going to be a bit gutted, isn't he? Yeah, I've seen Luke Shaw's chef on TikTok constantly putting up Luke Shaw's favourite meal, Luke Shaw's favourite dessert. That won't be happening anymore, hopefully, because they're going to listen to Ten Hag's rules, and we're going to have actual meal plans put in place, which I think it's a good idea. So everyone's on the same foot and everyone is kind of going along the same plan as what Ten Hag wants them to. Also, players will have monthly BMI checks in order to ensure that they are staying in shape, and players are encouraged to come to Erik Ten Hag about any issues rather than going to their agents. That should be happening anyway because he's the manager. Of course, you can speak to your agents about stuff, but make sure it's communicated to the manager before stuff starts leaking out in the press that the manager had no idea about and didn't have time to plan for. That's been ridiculous. And we had that whole thing with Martial and Rangnick last year about apparently Rangnick didn't think Martial wanted to be in the squad. Martial said he'd never not play for United. The same story with Jesse Lingard came out. And these players need to communicate much better with the coach and show the coach some respect and tell him exactly what's going on. So I feel like these ground rules, as well, the BMI checks to keep them in shape, as a professional athlete, that is expected. And I think it's really good that he's putting these in place now, getting everyone on the right foot. This is how it should be at a professional club and how it should be regarding professional athletes. You see it a lot. I bet you see it at the top teams. You probably see it in Manchester City having the BMI test. You'd see it as well within top athletes in other sports. These things happen, and if we want our team to be fit and one of the fittest teams in the league, these are the stuff that has to happen. So I'm excited about Ten Hag, but I'm not excited about the way we're going about our transfer business. So it's really disappointing. Like if this was like Ollie in charge and this was the type of window we were having, I would think, wow, we are screwed. But we've got a decent manager there. Again, at the moment, he's doing it with his hands tied behind his back going into next season. And the fact they've only got one player going on his pre-season tour that isn't even a first teamer is so poor. I mean, he's going to be playing games, which is in preparation for the season. He's going to want to employ tactics in these games to see which players work best with which players, see what systems work better with which team. He can't do that without knowing what players are coming in. And that's the part about this where it's so frustrating because we've got a great manager there. We're just not doing anything to help him out. And this Jong news, again, I'm sick of it. I'm sure you guys are sick of it, but it's a never-ending circus. And surely United can just pay the money if they really want him, and hopefully we can convince him to come. And it's so sad that that's what the position we're in. We have to massively convince a player to come. We've even got his ex-manager that he was under playing his peak football, and we still can't get him here. That's how off-putting our club is at the moment. Corner Kick says, new member. Ten Hag is a real football manager. That's the thing. I'm happy with the way he's going to improve Sancho. I think we'll see a brilliant Sancho this season. I think hopefully Rashford will improve. I mean, it can't get any worse than last season. Bruno, I think he'll be 10 times more disciplined. You'll see players really kind of start to improve if they put the work in and put the effort in under Ten Hag. But overall, you can't do it with your hands tied behind your back. And that is what's happening so far in the transfer window. And a lot of you guys will say, we should have just ditched De Jong. We should have gone for other options. That was an option. I feel like now it's not an option because we spent so much time on it, and targets that we had, their prices have risen. We'd have to start the negotiations all over again, and we know how long Manchester United takes. I think they've really dug themselves in a deep hole with this De Jong, and they've got to keep going until they get the deal done. And if we get the deal done, it will be a brilliant player to bring to the club. I'm just not convinced it's going to happen anymore. And for that, it just makes me so frustrated. Last super chat before I go. Paul Sanders, about time we had a stronger manager who can sort these players out. Exactly. At least the players we've got are not going to get a free ride anymore, and they're under a strong, decent manager. And we're going to see if these players have the potential and if they've got the capabilities there. I know a lot of leaks coming out saying they were lacking a proper coach. Let's see if you can do it under a proper coach then. And hopefully we see some players improve on the game, and the players that don't, we get to get them out of the club. But thank you everyone for watching. It's a really difficult time now to be a Manchester United fan, and we're right here with you on the United Stand. We're going to be covering the pre-season tour on the United Stand here. All the latest news updates will be here, and we've got another 8 p.m. show coming for you tonight. And if there's not any news before then, we'll see you at 8 p.m. tonight, and Mark's back on the show for 8 p.m. And make sure you like and subscribe. And thank you for watching. Thank you for all your questions. I'll see you on the next one.